So we're leveraging Athena, your virtual AI assistant, to produce documentation for this client. So are you ready to get started? Yes. Athena then gives you three options: to draft a strategy paper, where she helps you to come up with the strategies, so the recommendations. She will also help you to define quite a comprehensive cash flow calculation. You can create an advice request, which would involve attaching, pretty comprehensive product comparisons, maybe a different file note. Maybe you want to skip the strategy paper formulation and you have your own strategy paper notes that you've done on the client and you just want to upload those. The quick advice request is using audio only. So clicking this microphone down the bottom, recording some instructions or context about the client, and then that being used to populate the paraplanning request. Let's take us through the strategy paper first. Cool. Do you want to use the most recent file note? Yes. Great. Do you want to provide any other reference material? So fact find, strategy notes, personal budget, product comparisons. I'm going to attach 2 product recs reports, one for each client, and I'm attaching them as a PDF. Okay, as we can see here, she's received those, and now she asks if we want to provide any audio input. This is where you could press the record button, speak into the microphone, and then send it, but I'll cancel out of that. I'll say no. Okay, great. So Athena's provided a response. So she says she's confirming the client details here for Stephen and Robbie, confirming the super balance details, a few other things, and then it shows us the full cash flow calculation that she's worked through. There are some things that she'd like to clarify. For example, the total combined household income. So the living expenses. The living expenses are $50,000 per year. She also wants to confirm income for any shares. So let's just say no further income. And confirming the current employer super contribution percentages. So what I will do here is say 11.5 for both Stephen and Robbie. Let's correct that. Confirmation of any additional contributions, no further contributions. Okay, we can see here that she's now taken that input and recalculated the cash flow. So she's saying that there's approximately $2,200 per month, or just short of $27,000 per year. I could say yes, happy with that. If I wanted to correct her in anything or provide some other further information, I could just type that, or I could use the recording function for her to make those changes. Okay, we can see that Athena has now generated some recommendations. She's reiterated the key goals and objectives for the client. And then she's gone through some recommended strategies. So to roll over from Australian Super over to the Net Wealth Super Accelerator Core for both clients and why. Maximizing concessional super contributions. Any strategic debt management. They have high debt and they're concerned about that, and some alternatives. Now let's confirm that this is correct, and that she can populate that into the template on the right hand side. Okay, excellent. So we can see on the right hand side that she's populated this into the template that I first selected when I started the strategy. The goals and objectives are listed, the in-depth cash flow surplus calculation, the recommended strategies, which we've confirmed, some alternative strategies, the assumptions, and items that need to be researched. I can now finalize this, and we can then move on to completing an advice request. Okay, let's start an advice request. And let's choose our default template at Paradino. Again, are we ready to get started? Yes, we are. Okay, this time let's create an advice request. Let's use both and reference both the file note and the recent strategy paper that we created. Okay, excellent. So what Athena does here says, from the file note, here's how I can populate the advice request template with this information. And from the strategy paper, I'm going to populate these areas. Are you happy with that? And is there anything else you want to provide? I'm happy with that approach. I have uploaded a product comparison. This time, we're going to attach a well solver report. Again, in a PDF document. Great. So with the product comparison document, she can populate these areas. She asks if I want to record any audio. I'm happy with that, but no audio. What I'll do is I'll use the audio function. Once we've produced this output into the template, I'll use the audio function to live update the document. Great. Okay. So Athena's now provided some recommendations. Now this is moving super from Australian super to net wealth and investing in the Lonsec managed portfolio listed balanced option. Here's the reasoning and the link to the goals. The investment allocation which she's broken down. The maximizing of concessional super contributions. Using surplus cash. Some strategic debt management. Again, linking that to goals. And some alternative strategies. I'm happy with this. Again, if I wanted to request any changes, I could either type that or record some dictate by recording some audio, and Athena will take action based on that. Okay, perfect. So she's now populated this into my advice request template. So let's quickly go through that. She details the goals and objectives in a very nice table format for us, which is what I asked for in my template. She details the recommended strategies, exactly how we've confirmed them in our chat with her. There are the alternatives, the product recommendations, which investments being selected, importantly the product comparison table, which does note that the recommended platform is more expensive, some cash flow modeling, and the fee for the advice. Now I'm going to demonstrate what recording audio will do to live update the document. Note that up the top in the scope, right now personal insurance planning is not addressed because it's out of scope. What I'll do is ask for it to be included. With the statement of advice fee, change that to be $4,150 and take that from the cash account. With the insurance recommendations, have some recommended level of cover. For both Stephen and Robbie have life and TBD insurance. The level of cover will be $500,000 each. The reason for cover will be to make sure that they are adequately insured. The insurance provider will be TAL, and the premium will be $500. Okay, great. We can see here that she's included the insurance recommendations for $500,000 of life and TBD for each of them, taking everything I said from the audio and placed it into the exact table. We can also see that the statement of advice fee will be $41.50 GC inclusive, and it'll be paid from the cash account. And that's Strategy Assist.